Hey architecture students, in this video I'll show you how to make a sheet in Revit that we can print off or that we can save as a PDF to turn in. When we make a sheet, we're making a sheet of paper that has a title block, and then it can have a floor plan view or a 3D view or an elevation view or a section view. The views are kind of up to you and what you need. In this video I'll show you how to make a floor plan view and a 3D view on the same sheet of paper. So the very first thing we need to do is take a look at your floor plans. And in this assignment that I'm showing you, I actually have 4 designs of bathrooms. And what I want to do is create a sheet for each one. So there's an extra step that I need to take so that I don't have all 4 designs on the same sheet of paper all the time. So what I want to do is, while I'm in my floor plan view, I want to click on the View tab and choose Duplicate View and do Duplicate as a Dependent. What this means is that it's kind of making a copy of your floor plan, but it's dependent on the original one. And the reason why this matters is if we go into our first floor or our ground floor and I make a change, like I moved this bathtub, it will also change in my dependent view. See, the bathtub moved. And if I move it back, it will change in the original. So we want to make sure that we have a copy. Take our dependent view and make sure that it's dependent. It'll be like indented under the floor plan that it's dependent to. Right click on it and let's rename it. I'm going to call mine full bath and make sure that we're working on that. So I'm going to double click on it. What we want to do here is we want to make sure that we can crop out the extra things we don't want to see. So I'm going to zoom out a lot. And this box here, this is the crop region. If you can't see it, there's an icon on the bottom that says show or hide crop region. You want to make sure that the light bulb is on. That means we can see it. If the light bulb's off, we can't see it. So make sure we're on, we have the crop region showing. We're going to click on this box here, and essentially we're just going to drag the solid line, so the inside dot, down and around what we want to put on our sheet. We're not erasing anything, we're just cropping it or hiding it from view. And you can zoom in and you can adjust that like this. So make sure you don't have anything else extra on there. After you're done, I like to hide the crop region because I don't want this box around it. So I'm going to click that button. And now I'm ready to put this on a sheet. So in my project browser, I'm going to go to Sheets. I'm going to right click and hit New Sheet. And when this box shows up, we're looking for default title blocks. Again, I'll probably tell you what size we need. So we should look for them in the list. If they're not there, we can click Load. We can go to the J drive, go to Architecture, go to My Library, and in title blocks, you'll find the default title blocks. So you can load these just like any other component. So I'm going to load this default title block, and I'm going to click OK. So here's my sheet of paper, and my title block's on here. So what I want to do is make sure I'm on the View tab and click Insert a View or Place a View. And in this list, we're looking for our floor plan that we called something. So mine was called Full Bath. I named it that. It's right here. And we click Add the View to the sheet. And we click. Now, this is called a viewport, and the viewport has its own properties where if I click on it once, I can change the scale. So if it's too big or too small, we can change the scale over here. We don't want to double click on the viewport because when we do that, everything else gets grayed out, and now I'm actually editing the floor plan here. So we don't want that. So if you double click on it, just double click out of it. And we want to move this around and put it where we want it to go. Now, the tricky part about the viewport is this title that shows up on the bottom. If we want to adjust the length of the line on the title, make sure we're on the viewport so that we can move that. If we want to actually move the title itself, though, we need to click off the viewport and then click on the title by itself, and then we can move that. I don't know why it's that way. It's a little tricky, but that's what we kind of need to know. Adjust the viewport title line, click on the viewport, move the title, click off the viewport, and move it. So now putting in other views is kind of the same process. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a 3D view of this bathroom. So I'm going to go to my ground floor or my dependent view. It doesn't matter. I'm going to click on View. I'm going to do a 3D view, and I want the camera. So now we're going to essentially take a 3D picture of this. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to put the camera where I would be standing if I was taking a picture of this. And I'm going to drag what I want to look at. I'm going to click like this. Our 3D view will show up. And here's what's pretty important. Right away, let's go to the project browser, right click, rename this, and call it full bath or whatever you're making, and then put 3D after it. It's important that we name this so we know where it is. Do not delete the 3D in the brackets here. That is your default camera 3D view. You do not want to delete that. And now what I like to do is come over here and click on the visual style, and do not use ray trace, but you can use shaded, realistic, or consistent colors. The style is up to you. And now we're going to click on the border of this view and stretch it so that I can see as much as I want to see. So I want to make sure I can see the sinks, so I'm going to kind of stretch it out. And we're getting a view of this bathroom. One thing you need to know is that the more you stretch this, things that are closer to the camera are going to get distorted. So like this sink looks super long in this picture, but that's okay. So kind of get this view the way you want. And when it's the way you want, go back to your sheet. And now you can go to View. And in your list, we're looking for a 3D view that says the name. So it's 3D view, full bath 3D. Yours might be different. I'm going to click Add the view to the sheet. And it's going to be very big. So I'm going to put it off to the side, kind of hanging off the sheet. With it clicked on, with the viewport clicked on once, I'm going to click Size Crop. I'm going to choose Scaled so that it stays in proportion. And for the height, I know that this size of paper is 11 inches tall, so I'm going to control the height. So I think 7 is kind of the size that I want. 7 inches tall. I'm going to click Apply. And that looks like it's going to fit. It might be a little bit big, so maybe I'll even scale it down a little bit more. And we'll click OK. And now I can move it. And again, this title is a little weird. I can click off the viewport, click on the title, and move the title. If I want to shorten up this line, because we don't want things hanging off our title block, I'm going to click on the viewport. And then I get the handles, so I can make this a little smaller. And now I basically have the images and the floor plans that I want on here. So now it's just a matter of fine-tuning it. So I might actually make this a little bit smaller. It's just really wide, so I'm going to make it just even a little bit smaller so it doesn't take up the whole sheet. I'm going to move this over, shrink this down a little bit. And I'm probably going to scale up the floor plan so that I can see it a little bit better. That's a nicer size. I can use my arrow keys to bump things into place. I'm going to kind of just adjust this title. And the last thing I want to do here is I want to fill in the title block information. So our sheet is unnamed and it says by author. So what we can do is if you click on nothing, the properties are up here. So we can scroll down and where it says drawn by and it says author, you can type your name like this and click apply. Where it says sheet name, we can put the title of the sheet name, full bath. And then the sheet number is the page number. And if you look on mine, I've already made one called A101. So I'm going to make this one A102. Remember that A stands for architecture. So we're going to click apply. And now I have my sheet done. So you're going to want to go through and make all the sheets that you need to turn in. When you're ready, it's time to print it. I would definitely save this before you print it. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go to File and Print and hit Print here. Now we're going to print these, and I'm using print in air quotes right now, print these to make PDF files that we can turn in. So for the printer name, we're going to look for something that makes PDFs, like Adobe PDF or Microsoft Print to PDF. Then we're going to go down here for print range and choose selected views or sheets, and then hit select. I like to turn off the views so I can only see my sheets. So I'm going to check them all because I want both of these sheets, and we click OK. And then it asks, do I want to save these settings for future use? Click no. Now here it wants us to kind of tell us where we're going to save it, but it will ask us after we press print. So we really don't have to worry about this. The only other thing we should check is combine multiple selected views into a single file. That will give us one file with a lot of pages in it. So that's what we want. We need to click on properties here. And we need to make sure that our paper size matches our sheet size. So I'm going to click advanced. Paper size, letter is normal paper size. This B title block is made for B size paper or tabloid size paper. So we're going to click that. We're going to click OK. And then OK. And then when I click OK, it's going to ask me where I want to save this. This right here, it says Revit will use raster printing because it uses shading. That's okay, so we're just going to click close. And now I'm going to save this somewhere where we can turn it in. So I would put it on your H drive. I'm just going to put it on my desktop so that I can find it. I'll call it Design These Bathrooms. And then I'm going to click Save. Before you turn this in, it's probably pretty smart to check that these printed correctly. So go out and find that file, and it might open in Chrome, it might open in Acrobat Viewer, it might open in Microsoft Edge. That's all okay. But here's my first page. I already had this one done. Here's my second page that I just made. And this is one PDF file that I can turn in. And that's how we make sheets that we can print or save as PDFs.